In this video, we're going to look at the formative assessment type using quizzes that I'm referring to as a reflection quiz, a reflective quiz. You can also think of it as a timed writing quiz if you want a more scary name for it. I know a lot of students don't like to write. They're afraid of writing. They're terrified of writing. But it's just a fear that they need to overcome, and this is an excellent type of assignment to locate the students that struggle with writing, and you can take care of it right from the very beginning, especially if you have these kind of assignments front-loaded in the class. You can even put them in the middle of modules to help check to see how they're doing as well, just like you would with the game quizzes or the practice quizzes. So let's take a look at how this works. Okay, so we're going to start the quiz. Okay, so for this quiz I have an information question here. This can be created in your quiz by adding a new question, and the type is an information. Or descriptive is also called. And it says read this before you begin, so you want to make sure you're clear what you want them to do from the very beginning, so that's why I added this question type first. This is an actual question, but it has no point value. It says answer the following essay questions. You will have 2 hours to complete the questions. Each answer must contain at least 2 4-sentence paragraphs at a minimum. So we're specifying how big these answers need to be, otherwise you're going to get 1-sentence, 2-sentence answers. They'll usually do as little as possible unless you specify the standards. So this first question says briefly summarize formative assessments and why you should use them in your courses. So this will really show you how well this person knows formative assessments. Okay, so there's 2 questions. You see our timer here. We've got 2 hours, so even if I close this out and come back in, my timer's still going. That's fine. So what I need to do is I need to start typing this out, 4 sentences, 2 paragraphs minimum in each paragraph. So what we would do is we would summarize formative assessments, basically that they're non-punitive. If you remember from the material, they differ from summative because they're non-punitive. They're more for feedback purposes. They're to help the student learn in the current topic, so that they can improve their learning in the current topic. Whereas summative assessments are for the end of the topic or end of the course to measure how well or how much the student has learned, to assign a grade. This is more, formative assessments are more to show the student where they're at and where they need to improve, what their weaknesses are, so they can improve. But it also shows you, the teacher, where their weaknesses are too, so it can help you improve the feedback to the students. So that's really the purpose of formative assessments. So we would type this out in 2 paragraphs, and then we would move on to the next question. Would you say your current courses predominantly use summative assessments? Summative assessments are the most common form of assessments used in online classes. It is very common for instructors to have few, if any, formative assessments in their class. So don't feel bad if the answer to that question is yes. If so, why did you create most of the assessments using summative methods? Because it's the standard. Most people know they have to have a final exam, they have to have a midterm or an end of chapter exam just to make sure the students are doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's the most common form of assessment you're going to create in the class. It's the default. The formative assessments are generally seen as accessories, not something that's absolutely required and mandatory, but they make the class better. And so that's why a lot of times you don't see them in classes. But when you get out of this course, I want you to understand that I'm not trying to say summative assessments aren't important. They're very important. But formative assessments are also very important too, and that's probably what your course is missing, is the formative assessments. So it's very important that we include those. So you could say generally that that's just what was required, and you weren't really as familiar with formative assessments. That's okay. That's what this course is for, is to show you these multiple different types of assessments so that you can be a better instructor. So that's how you would answer this as a student. So 2 hours is really plenty of time to answer these 2 essay questions. Again, with the point value, you could make it worth 5 points. If a normal essay or quiz is worth 100, you can just make this worth 5 points. So if they don't do it, it doesn't kill them, but it hurts them too. You really want to give them enough encouragement to get in here and do this and to really think about what they're learning. If they have trouble halfway through a topic describing an important topic in this course, such as formative assessments, then they're not learning what they're supposed to learn. They really need to be able to answer this well and quickly because it's such an important topic. If they can't do that, then they know that they have a shortcoming in their learning, and they can contact you or you can contact them. Go ahead and make this multiple attempts, 5, 10 attempts. It doesn't really matter, because the purpose here is for the student to see what they don't understand and for you to see what they don't understand. And these are graded by you by hand, each essay question. So, you know, maybe let them have multiple shots at it if they want. You can grade and they give them the highest grade they got. Let them take it again. It's completely up to you how you want to do this, but I think this is a perfect way to have a more relaxed environment for writing. It's not the critical 10%, 20% of their final grade, and so they're nervous and terrified of doing this. It's really a way where they're doing essay answers to be reflective of what they already know and to show themselves that I don't really know this as well as I thought I did, and to show you that they're struggling. So this is just an excellent way to use quizzes as a formative assessment to help the students see where they are and to help you see where your students are, but without the heavy punitive assessments that summative assessments usually end up being.